Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to take a look at the American market, review a few instruments, and highlight the key points that I hope will help you make your trading decisions. Let's get started. And today, we'll start with the S&P 500. On the monthly chart, everything is still going according to the previously outlined plan. The levels and trends remain relevant. Last time, I mentioned that the target of $7,500 had been reached, and I expected a correction to begin. And sure enough, the price started to be pushed down. So far, this move isn't strongly supported by volume, but I think everything is still ahead. At this pace, the price could slowly reach the $7,000 level to test the previous breakout and then resume its growth. So for now, I'll keep my chart expectations unchanged. Next, let's move on to the daily chart. The previous high that I pointed out was, as expected, manipulated, after which the price approached it again, but this time with lower volumes, which could indicate a real test of that manipulation. And from here, we can expect the price to fall to the previously noted level of $7,000, where we will later assess the efforts of both sides to determine whether the upward movement will continue or if the price will keep falling. Based on this, I am keeping my chart expectations unchanged. So, for those who hold shares in their portfolio, the trend break I mentioned earlier has happened. So, the position has moved into a loss making stage. I think at least down to $7,000. I believe it only makes sense to buy more after the correction's over. Next, Google shares on the monthly chart. The trends and levels remain relevant. We just need to add a new level. That's the previous high. Let's do that and remove the previously marked zone that the price didn't reach. In the previous review, I expected a price correction to the $350 level, which is exactly what happened. But now we have new data that I simply can't ignore. The price reached the indicated level, but so far there hasn't been any reaction from buyers, which could mean that the price might be pushed even further down. If that happens, I will expect the price to be around $275 per share. For now, this seems more logical and likely to me than a resumption of growth from the current price levels. So I'll keep the previously noted chart expectations, but I'll add a new one. I think this scenario is now more likely. Now let's move on to the daily chart. Here, the situation still supports my assumptions about a continued decline. The price did start to rise after reaching the level, but there was no interested party in this movement. In other words, there weren't any significant volumes needed to resume an upward trend. I'll note for myself a key point at the level of $340 per share. If the price is pushed below this level and holds there, then most likely in the near future, we'll see the asset's price around $275 per share. I'll mark an additional possible scenario on the chart. Therefore, for those who hold shares in their portfolio, it's quite likely that we'll see a decline in the asset's price in the near future. At the moment, I still consider buying more shares to be risky, if necessary to wait for a strong influx of buying volume. Next up are Apple shares and their monthly chart. The trends and levels remain relevant. It's just necessary to add the level of the previous high. Here, the price is magically repeating the movement of Google shares. The price also didn't quite reach the level one marked and came back to test the effort of the previous breakout. Just like in the previous example, there isn't any significant volume to support renewed growth during this test, so it's quite likely that the price will go into a deeper correction. So I'll adjust my chart expectations, remove the unnecessary elements, and mark a second, more likely scenario for how things might develop. Let's take a look at the daily chart now. As I mentioned earlier, the price approached the test of the previous effort, but the renewed movement is happening without significant volume. I think this level will be key for further analysis. If the price is pushed lower, I'll expect the decline to continue to around $250 per share. After that, we'll watch the efforts of both sides. Or, if the level holds, then the price will most likely continue to move upward, but that's unlikely. Let me highlight my chart expectations. So, for those who are holding shares in their portfolio, pay attention to how the price behaves at the current level. If the price is pushed down, you'll most likely have to endure a loss down to $250 per share. I don't think it makes sense to buy more shares until there's significant volume indicating a renewed upward trend. Well, that's roughly how I expect things to play out. But if you think differently, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future reviews. I hope this was really helpful. And don't forget, we make assumptions, but the market decides.